Ditka?
Hey. You're really campaigning for Bitch of the Year, aren't you?
I swear, one of these times you're gonna wake up in a coma.
If we can focus, keep discipline, and not have quite as many mysterious deaths, Sunnydale is gonna rule!
Hey everybody, and welcome to GrrArghCast. We are the Buffy Angel recap podcast that brings you all of the recaps of Buffy and Angel, as the title might imply. I am your host, Brandon Ellison.
And I'm Jewel Rocket Rosen, still getting ready, obviously. Did I throw you off with my lipstick? You were like, what is she doing?
No, you warned me that you were going to do that right before we started.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Jewel, we're back on track. We're into the 5th season of Buffy, second season of Angel. We're on episode 2 of each of them. So we have a lot to talk about today. We're covering the episodes Real Me and Are You Now or Have You Ever Been? Before we do that, 2 things I want to cover. First of all, this week we have quite a few Buffy and Angel and Firefly and Dollhouse birthdays. I
noticed that. There's a lot of
Yesterday was Anthony Head's birthday, who plays Giles. Happy birthday, Tony Head.
Happy birthday, Giles.
His video of him reading the questions from our trivia from last year has like 44,000 views on YouTube. It's like
because
the third
it was
thing that
awesome.
It's very it's by far the biggest number of views that we have on YouTube. It's okay, cool.
I'm sorry, are you trying to say I'm not as famous as I think I am? Like, I have a lot of views, Brandon.
I mean, you do, and that's cool and all. Tomorrow is Deacon Lackman's birthday. You don't know who she is, but she
not a clue.
Is on Dollhouse.
Happy birthday, girl.
And then Thursday is Alexis Denisoff's birthday. He plays Wesley.
You happy birthday too, girl. Oh, wait, no, he's a boy. Happy birthday, you, sir.
You, sir, person. So those are I don't want to say his name anymore. Those are our Buffy, Angel, Dollhouse, Firefly birthdays of the week.
Isn't this Alexis character? Isn't he married in real life to Allison Hannigan?
Yes. Who plays, of course, as most of you might know, Willillo. Before we get into this week's episodes, what have you been watching or reading or listening to as you scream off screen at somebody?
Just casually, my mother thought it'd be a great idea to go digging in the ice freezer. I don't know if anyone else could hear that, but I could hear the feedback, and I usually can't hear a damn thing. What have I been watching? What did I watch last night? Oh, Barb and Star Go to Del Mar. You guys, it's great. It's great.
Is that the Kristen Wiig movie?
Yes, I need a pair of culottes.
I want to see it.
Yeah. I've also been I've had a shopping week, you guys. Do you ever, girls on there, feel the need? Thank you. Yes, actually, I'm just going to give a shout out right now to Thrive Cosmetics. I'm obsessed. It's called Paige, and it is the best color. It's so easy. And look, it comes off to you.
And they don't sponsor us.
It does not come off at all. Girls should.
You can't say anything else nice about them until they give us money.
Wear it under your masks. Boom. I watched Barb and Star Go to Del Mar, and oh my god, I need a pair of culottes. I need some of the. They really brought the '90s vibes in, so I felt good about Xander and his Hawaiian print tops.
The 2 shows that I've been super into, I've talked about it a little bit on here, but WandaVision is fabulous. It's so much better than it has to be.
What is it about? I don't get it.
It's about the characters of Wanda and Vision from the Avengers, and I do not like the Avengers movies. I don't like superhero stuff, but this is a very dark, sort of interesting, weird TV show, and Catherine Hahn is amazing.
Question, is this Wakanda? Is this Chadwick Boseman?
No, he's
Wanda, not Wakanda.
No, Chadwick Boseman is very dead. This is Elizabeth Olsen and Paul Bettany. And Evan Peters is also in it, and it's really fabulous. It's on Disney Plus. I highly recommend it. And Emma Caulfield, who plays Anya on Buffy, is on it.
Because I don't hate her anymore. I like her. Tara still can't stand.
Well, I'm glad we came around on one of them. And then the other thing that I've been watching, guys, I love trivia stuff. And there is a show called The Hustler that's on, I believe it's on Fox. and it's a trivia show where one person in this it's like group trivia, they're all playing, and one person knows all the answers already and has to like disguise themselves as if they don't know, because if it gets down to that last person, then that person wins all of the money. And if it gets down, because they pick a person each round to eliminate, so it eventually gets down to 3 people, 1 the hustler and 2 that are not the hustlers. And if the non-hustlers win, so they all choose one last person that they think is the hustler. If the non-hustlers are right, then they get all the money. But if the hustler evades capture, then they get all the money.
I have to tell you already, I'm confused, and I have glazed over.
I understand that. Watch an episode. I love it. It's very funny. Will just commented that he watched all of Bly Manor and binged it in 2 days, and I am so happy about that because I loved it. And the Muppet Show is on Disney Plus now, he says. So
I started watching Gossip Girl from the beginning because I needed to reflect on my childhood, and season 2 is still the best season.
I've never seen that. But I do think now we need to have a podcast where you and I describe the rules of game shows.
100%, because if you can keep my interest. Now, I have worked on a couple of game shows, one of which was softly titled Werewolf, which I don't know if you ever played that game.
Like,
Mafia.
Are You a Werewolf? Yeah, it's
Mafia Werewolf.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's not a good TV show.
Yeah, I actually
and I know that because
werewolf
we made
card game in a box right behind me right now.
We made it a TV show, and I worked there, and I was like, but the best part was there was this producer who kept asking us every time we would tell them about, like, bring up talent and like pitch them talent. They would be like, but Jewel, or whoever they were talking to, Amanda, do they play the game? So, still to this day, Amanda and I will ask each other if we play the game.
I'm not surprised that show did not take off. It's such a like,
oh my gosh.
Know people.
Do you want to know some this is a Hollywood story behind the scenes moment. So when we were playing a practice round, they needed a body. So I had to play with most of the cast of Glee. And I was terrible. And I was so nervous and so embarrassed that after I got voted out, which was very quickly on purpose, I went and like hid behind a chair. It was like too much pressure for me. I panicked.
Okay. Was it one of the 3 dead cast members of Glee? Were any of them involved?
No, Jenna Ushkowitz was the one who like got me voted out. She's great. She was nice. It was, I can't remember who it was. It was Darren Criss was there. They were all the Glees were there. The great Glees were there. I don't think Naya was there. Corey had already passed by that time.
What about the pedophile Puck who hung himself from a tree?
He also wasn't there, but he dated a mutual friend.
Oh boy. How old is this mutual friend?
Older than I am, so it was age appropriate.
Well, that's the only thing.
But she was surprised.
Well, that's exciting. And then Leah Michele, I assume, wasn't there because she is just awful.
Well, Leah Michelle's gotten a lot of heat, and obviously deserved, since she did make an apology, but she was not there.
You know who hasn't made an apology yet?
I know, but like I feel like if I were him, I just wouldn't say anything either, because it's not like it was
your millions. Yeah,
like he didn't say. I think he was just not a nice person to work with. And I mean, like, abuse is a relative term, I think, on set. I think you have to decide what you're going to internalize. One thing they tell you when you start production is you can't take anything personally that anyone says to you on set. It's such a high pressure environment, and you're working against a clock at all times. So
especially like I've worked in locations.
Yeah.
And locations is the worst job on a film set, because you are the first person to arrive. You're the last person to leave. You're working for 3 months before that. You're the person that like has to, we want to shoot at this bar in Brooklyn that's only open on Tuesdays and Thursdays for 3.5 hours. You have to go negotiate a deal with them. By the way, they don't speak any English at all, and they've never signed a contract, and their business is being run illegally. Like, you have to deal with all that shit. And I have dealt with a lot of really
Oh yeah, I got fired on the daily. I had someone I worked for who literally, if I stapled a document and it needed to be hole punched, she'd be like, "You're fired. Like, go take a walk and come back in 20 minutes." I got fired for everything.
Yeah, I agree. So anyway, that's let's not talk about him anymore.
It makes you a stronger person. Come on.
Hey, let's talk about the real me. And by that, I mean not me at all, but the episode, The Real Me, which is also just called Real Me, apparently.
What was that? Which episode?
This is the Buffy episode.
Oh, we're going Buffy first? Okay.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
When Buffy and Giles heat up the training, Buffy and Dawn's sibling rivalry gets them into trouble when a new gang of vampires target the Slayer. So I love the way this episode opens when Buffy and Giles are in there doing weird like breathing exercises and she's standing on her head or whatever, and her stunt person is really getting their work in.
Right.
There's these little crystals on this piece of wood that are perfectly stacked, and it's supposed to be very static and calm and whatever. And then Dawn comes in and knocks them over because she wants to go home. And we just generally see like this Dawn being this like obnoxious little sister to Buffy.
I still don't understand what she's doing there. I feel like we're back to season 1. This episode felt very season 1-y to me.
In a good way or a bad way?
Like if we watched, I would feel like this would be part of season 1 in the episodes, and the way this episode kind of rolls out and the way the story progresses in this episode, it feels like a season 1 episode. It does not feel like we are, 5 seasons deep. It feels like we're just starting.
Yeah.
And also the acting.
I'll say it's kind of by design. It's kind of by design that we're forced to like kind of re-meet these characters and what their place is in the world.
But I felt like Michelle Trachtenberg's acting, I feel like she's not super comfortable with the character yet. Like the character is uncomfortable, but also it feels very Harriet the Spy. Like who had like super Harriet the Spy vibes from this.
By the way, I'm not hating on that at all because I love Harriet the Spy.
Who didn't love? I mean, if you don't love Harriet the Spy, don't talk to me. Rosie O'Donnell changed my world in that movie. But listen, and Michelle Trachtenberg is like writing in her diary and talking out loud. Who did that also? Harriet the Spy taking notes about Dolly.
Well, I love Michelle Trachtenberg and I love her in Harriet the Spy. However, nothing tops Michelle Trachtenberg in Pete and Pete.
It's true.
Nothing.
It's true. That's just a whole different level of Michelle Trachtenberg, and also my 90s childhood. Yeah. Because she made Pete and Pete actually like I liked him. Yeah, like the trifecta of 90s like child actresses is Michelle Trachtenberg, Lori Beth Denberg, and Mara Wilson. Matilda. What about Amanda Bynes?
Later.
Like I'm a little disappointed. No, but she was so 90s. She was so there. It's because I'm a little
bit older than you. So my 90s pop culture frame of reference is like I would put Kirsten Dunst on that list before I would.
Oh, 100%. I think Kirsten Dunst. She would be like the A-list of them.
Yeah.
Because the others didn't get any A-list stuff done.
So anyway, so Dawn is annoying Buffy. True. Joyce asked Buffy to take Dawn shopping for school supplies. But Riley's like, hey, we already have plans. And then Buffy cancels so she can go work with Giles. We find Buffy's new BMW. Giles' new BMW, which
the convertible, which I thought was it a BMW? Because I thought it was like a vintage red car.
You know how I know that? Because it was one of the questions I made Anthony Head read for our trivia.
Was it? Oh, yeah. Well, I feel like he deserved a BMW. Like, you go, Giles. You do you, bud. You were driving that weird ass, little car before that didn't work.
Yeah. And they are going to the magic shop. They see Willow and Tara on the way. They're all going to the magic shop. And when they get there, the shop owner is dead. He's been killed by vampires. And they have stolen a bunch of stuff from there, including this unicorn statue and some books about the Slayer.
Yeah.
And before all that happens, so we see Dawn, she's hanging out outside because she shouldn't be around a dead body. And some homeless guy is like, you don't belong here.
I'm a cat.
You don't belong here.
What? I mean, but again, seriously, like who wrote this? Why? What was the point of this? It was just super weird and awkward.
There's a point.
Am I just not being shown the point yet? Is it just like one of those like floating points? Like, oh, you'll figure this out later when you no longer care?
Yeah, you'll figure this out later, but you will care.
Why?
He also says curds and whey, as Naomi has pointed out.
Little Miss Muffet sat on her tuffet.
Yeah. Which
why is she Miss Muffet?
Well,
What is
she
the
is.
toughest?
You remember that Faith said in the finale of season 3, Little Miss Muffet counting down from the 730. So there was a little bit
No
of
idea. What?
well, that happened when Buffy is having that dream and her and Faith are making the bed and Faith is being all cryptic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's 2 seasons ago.
She talked about Little Miss Muffet. Why? What is about what? Okay, first
You'll
of all,
see. You'll
questions.
see.
What is a tuffet?
I have no idea.
What are curds and whey?
Well, curds are cheese curds, which
Ew.
are delicious.
Yeah, but like, why are they? What is whey?
It's like, I don't know. I know what whey protein is. It's
Isn't
like
whey
a
like
grain-based
juice?
thing. I think it's like oatmeal.
Ugh.
Yeah. So anyway,
Cheesy oatmeal? That's disgusting.
yeah. So we find out that Harmony actually led the group of vampires.
Ugh.
Harmony's back. You love Harmony.
I loved her in this. This was the
Yes.
greatest Harmony moment for her. It was harmonious.
And Giles actually takes a look at the books and realizes that the shop is making this like crazy like profit margins on magic stuff.
Of course they are.
Which, yeah, naturally. I mean, we know enough people in Mesa, Arizona that sell crystals to know that there's a big profit margin.
What are you talking about, Mesa, Arizona? I'm talking about the crystal shops in Hollywood. The crystal shop on the corner of my street. I mean, seriously, there's crystals fucking everywhere here.
Okay. So the gang, where was I? Okay. So Dawn kind of has a crush on Xander. It's implied in this. Like,
That's
she really,
weird.
Well, it kind of makes sense.
Well,
I mean,
it's because he's perpetually 14.
Yeah. So she's super excited that Xander's going to be her babysitter for the night, but then she realizes that Anya is coming too, and they brought a whole bunch of board games, including the Game of Life, which they play.
By the way, that sounds like the best evening ever to me. Oh my god, I would love a board game night. Oh, yes.
Especially now. I would love to have interaction with humans of any sort right now.
Any.
But I love when they're playing the Life board game, and Anya asks if she can turn the kids in for more cash. Like when she's like, can I exchange the children for more?
Yeah,
money?
Can I sell my kids because I don't want them in my little life car?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I love that in that episode, and I love that we kind of get this glance into Anya's obsession with capitalism, which comes back into play very shortly. Where was I? So Xander, Anya, and Dawn. I mean, it's hard A's. You can't be mad at me for mixing those up. Xander, Anya, and Dan are all in the house, and Harmony shows up with her gang, and she's like taunting. She throws the brick through the window that says "Slayer, come out and die," and the eye is a happy face.
I have to there was nothing better to me than Harmony in this episode. Even the gentleman who bestows the unicorn gift on her,
yes,
to pay homage to Harmony and her sireness. Like, I'm into it. I loved Harmony. I thought she was so fun. She was very sincere in her convictions as well, because she was going to kill the Slayer, but like also not. Yeah.
And then Dawn accidentally invites them inside, or at least invites Harmony inside. And then Harmony jumps on Xander. They're fighting. Anya tries to step in and hit her with a lamp.
Anya is totally ineffectual. I'm just like saying. I like her, but she can't do anything.
Correct, but be funny, and she's good at that. And Xander kicks Harmony out of the house, literally. And then they leave. Harmony runs into Spike in the graveyard, and Spike is like, "Let me guess what your plan is. You're going to kidnap somebody that the Slayer loves, hold them hostage, and then the Slayer's going to show up and kick your ass." She's like, "No, that wasn't the plan." She's like, "Nice new plan." I love that. I'm laughing at it because I laughed at it when I watched the episode, and I'm laughing at it.
I thought it was fabulous. I loved it. I didn't get any out loud chuckles from me, but it definitely was like, ooh, yes.
And Tara and Willow are talking about how Dawn is having a hard time adjusting to being outside of the gang and whatever.
Why doesn't Dawn have any friends? That's what I want to know. Why didn't she go to school? Why didn't she have any friends?
She does, and she does.
When? Where? I didn't see any.
Well,
I know nothing about Dawn.
It's only the first
at
episode
this point.
we've seen her. I mean, other than for a second at the end of the last one.
I'm just saying, I'm echoing Will in this, where I believe you told us, Brandon, that we would know about Dawn.
Yeah, I didn't realize that it doesn't come for a while. Imagine how we felt watching the show for the first time. We were like, who the fuck is this girl? And why do we
watching
have to
it for the
she's
first
Cynthia?
time? I don't understand why she's here.
No. But I'm saying like when it was airing, at least like if you really wanted to, you shouldn't, but you could Google and see who she is.
What do you mean? I'm not going to do that because I'm watching this along with, the first responders.
Is that what we're calling them? Let's not. How about another name?
I don't think that's a good name. I'm sorry about that. I apologize.
So where was I? Tara says that she also feels like an outsider. Buffy is pissy about the lecture that her mom gave her about not wanting Dawn to see a dead body. And Riley is like, you guys resent each other for the same reasons. Like your sisters, you're going to fight. This is what happens.
Literally having that same discussion with Xander and Anya as she shovels ice cream in her mouth as well.
And I have a brother that's 4 years younger than me that I can't stand. So I think I get it.
Oh, snap.
Yeah. For different reasons, but yes. So they get home. Xander tells Buffy about Harmony, and they're laughing. It's all hilarious. But then Xander's like, yeah, and, it doesn't help that Willow invited her into the house forever.
Willow invited her.
I meant Dawn. I'm sorry.
Dawn, because Dawn is the one who fucked up because Buffy uses it against her later.
Yes. And so Buffy and... So Dawn hears them talking about this, and Buffy's all pissed off at Dawn and is like, she's going to get us all killed, whatever. Dawn runs out. She gets grabbed by Harmony's minions, and they attack Anya. The big one. Peaches.
The big one.
Peaches.
Peaches and cream.
And they attack Anya. Buffy runs out to find her sister, and then Xander and Riley stay and take care of Anya. Harmony is explaining that, like, we can't eat the girl. She's bait. Buffy's got to show up. And they're like, what if we just eat her anyway? Because the Slayer's going to come either way, which is, for the record, a perfectly legitimate point. And so we go through this.
Harmony losing control of her minions because she doesn't actually know how to be a leader.
Yeah, we also get Spike trying to cover for Harmony and Buffy beating the piss out of him until he tells the truth. And then one more time just for fun. Buffy takes out the minions. She stakes the one guy with the unicorn.
Yeah, which I thought was genius. That was the best way to die. I would want to die on a Pegasus.
A unicorn. Pegasus has wings.
Whatever.
Yeah.
A magic fucking horse.
Harmony runs away. Buffy frees Dawn. They get home. They both choose not to tell Joyce what happened.
So sorry, Heather. Can you just give us basically a breakdown in the comments of what is a Pegasus versus what? I feel like Heather would know.
Yeah, I don't know if Heather is watching right now, but if she's on here, let us know.
She should be watching. Sorry. Hi, Heather, girl gang. But also, we're talking about horses, and I know those are her favorite things.
Yeah.
Especially figurines, so I bet she really liked this episode.
Dawn says, I'm sorry, Dawn. Will, I can't talk today. Will says he thinks Buffy's too hard on Dawn, considering that she treats her like she's always been there, so Buffy should be a little bit nicer. That's the selfish Buffy that's been building for the last 2 seasons.
No, you don't understand what it's like to have sisters. I don't understand what it's like to have sisters, but you really have to like verbally spar with them to make it worthwhile. Like they are your teaching. I feel like a sister is your teaching mechanism. So you can fire off whatever you want at her and you can see what's like too far. I have a best friend who I would call like a sister, and that is who I use as my, sometimes you need a punching bag.
Yeah, my best friend Greg and I fight like fucking animals.
Yeah. Yes. And you see what works. And then you're like, sorry, I know you love me. You're required to by blood.
Buffy and Giles talk. Giles has decided to take over the magic shop, which is probably a good idea. It gives him something to do.
Maybe it gives him a purpose for being in Sunnydale and not going back to the Watchers Club.
And Dawn writes in her journal that Buffy still thinks she's a nobody, but that she's going to be in for a big surprise.
You go, Harriet.
So a couple of little trivia bits before we get into our final thoughts on this one. Sarah Michelle Gellar actually suggested Michelle Trachtenberg be hired for the role. The character was written as a 12-year-old, but after they hired Trachtenberg, they recast her as 14, or they rewrote her as 14. But the first few scripts, including this episode, were written as if she was like when the character was still 12 years old.
Is that because Sarah Michelle also liked Harriet the Spy? I
assume so, or I guess maybe they had met in mutual circles or whatever. She was also
originally Are they of similar age?
No. Dawn was also originally intended to have the power to speak to the dead or be able to move objects with her mind, but they later removed those powers. They were given a lot of freedom to develop Dawn. So there's a lot of stuff that they're developing really quickly with Dawn because her character is sort of just popped out of nowhere. So they
Yeah. Did they
added,
fire a writer? Is that what happened?
I don't think so.
Did they part ways with someone?
I don't know who this is who said this because the way our new streaming system works, we can't see the names of people. But it says Dawn is actually the product of an affair with Hank Summers and Pat from the book club. They had an affair years ago in LA. Pat joined the book club to tell Joyce about the affair in Dawn, but then zombies killed her. That's not what happened, but it's my favorite theory I've read today.
I think that's great. Also, fuck Pam, whatever her name is.
Pam, I loved Pam. This is the second episode in a row to promote a guest star to main cast status. Last episode, they made Anya a main character. And this episode, they made Dawn a main character. And finally, the role of Cyrus, who is the one in Harmony's gang that has a little bit of a lisp.
And also has spiky hair and a leather jacket.
Yes. Cyrus is played by Tom Lenk, who later goes on to play Andrew in the later seasons, a main character on Buffy and Angel. So he plays a different character.
So they come back. If Joss likes working with them, they come back.
I don't know who that is. We're not talking about him anymore. And then finally, that's it. Okay.
Tom Lake, isn't he the guy that wears red carpet outfits made of trash sometimes? I love him.
Yeah, he has an Instagram page where he makes like runway outfits out of nothing.
I love it.
He's
like paper plates, like China plates.
Noodles. He's very funny.
He's a genius.
Our foreign language titles, the Czech title is Meskutečná já, or My Real Self. The German title is Liebschwesterlein mein, or Dear Little Sister of Mine. The Italian title is Un invito pericoloso, or A Dangerous Invitation.
A dangerous invitation.
I'm going to go ahead and say it. The Italians are taking the Germans' place as the best names of
Bellissimo.
Yes. All right. So final thoughts and your letter rating.
Bene.
Jewel, what are your final thoughts on this episode?
Oh, I thought it was great. I loved it. I thought it was a great episode. I felt like I was watching Harriet the Spy. It did not feel like Buffy to me. I didn't care that they fought. I thought it was definitely just sister fighting. I didn't take it so personally well, but it's not my cross to bear.
Yeah.
I liked it. I had no complaints. I'd say this is a high B plus A minus. It's not like it wasn't like the greatest thing I'd ever seen, but I have no complaints. I was thoroughly entertained the whole time. I'm going high B plus.
Yeah, it's not a like an earth-shattering episode. There's no huge revelations made. There's no interesting like villains other than Harmony, who we love. I just thought it was great.
Harmony was the best villain. That's my kind of villain, Brandon. That's my kind of villain. Show me a red lip. I mean, first of all, get me excited.
Well, if it makes you feel good, I'll tell you that Harmony's going to be around for quite a while, including
thrilled
as a main cast member on one of the shows coming up soon.
Oh, is she going to Los Angeles? Is this going to make Angel better?
So my final letter rating on this one is, I'll give it a B. It's great. There's nothing I dislike about it. I love Harmony, and I think Anya is the VIP of this episode. I think she's hilarious.
I would watch this episode again. That is why I'm giving it a high B plus.
Nice. So again, you might hear us interacting with some people, and if you're listening to the podcast, you're like, what's going on? We have a Patreon page, patreon.com/GAC podcast. That's GAC podcasts. And if you sign up, it's $5 a month. You can come and join our live video where we're recording this. It's the only way to see the live video now. We've switched over to Patreon only on that. The episodes are still going to be available to download the next day, which is Monday. So we record these on Sunday. And if you want extended interviews with our special guests, whatever, you got to come here for that. Or else you're not getting the whole show. And we also do special bonus episodes and stuff. So you really want to be a part of this.
Also, we talk about fun, like life things, like recipes or recipes for those laymen.
Yeah. And eating disorders.
Speaking of recipes, Brandon, have you been on the TikTok and seen this phenomenon that is TikTok pasta, where they ran out of feta cheese in Finland?
No.
Let me tell you what. This TikTok pasta is banging and a half, and you would love it. Of all people, you would love it.
Okay.
So good. You should eat it and watch it and love it.
So patreon.com/GAC podcast. Go sign up. The next
I want
thing
pasta.
the next thing that we're going to be talking about is Are You Now or Have You Ever Been? Which is the second episode of the second season of Angel. Angel revisits the Hyperion Hotel, a place he has not been to since the 1950s. That's the synopsis on the official website, which thank you for finally not spelling out the entire plot of the episode in the synopsis.
I really hope that, Brandon, you're going to dive deep because I don't quite understand what happened in this episode.
Oh, I'd love to. I actually really like this episode, so here we go.
I need you to break it down.
So Angel, in the last episode, where there was that weird tribunal thing, we see Angel and that girl hide in that abandoned hotel.
Yes.
So Angel is he recognizes the hotel when he's in that space. So in this episode, he's asking Wesley and Angel to do some research into it because it's an abandoned hotel that was built in the 1920s. They're both like, why does Angel give a shit about this random hotel? For those in the comments that are talking about the HUAC, I'll get around to it in a second.
HUAC.
Both of them wonder why Angel's interested in this place, but he doesn't elaborate. He's just like, start the research, whatever. So this is a very... we have mixed feelings about these flashback episodes because when they go back too far, Angel has to use an Irish accent. And
I don't like it.
But in the 50s, Angel has an American accent, thank Christ. So this shows this hotel. It's clearly like a... what would you call this? Like a transition-y kind of Cecil Hotel sort of.
I see. It's very Cecil Hotel reminiscent.
Yes.
Or like the hotel that's in the American Horror Story.
Yes. And a little bit like the Magic Castle. It's just very like...
Keep to yourself.
It's not for people who have a lot of things going on for them quite yet.
A transitional living situation.
Yes. Maybe a little sketchy.
A boarding house.
Yes. So the concierge is going to try to get Frank, who's the bellhop, who is a character that I very much like, by the way, to deliver a bill to room 217. Frank is really uneasy because he's like, this guy gives me the creeps. He goes, he drops off the package, the door opens, and it's Angel.
Hell!
Yes. He's living in the hotel. He's very quiet. He doesn't interact with people. He just walks right past them. He's always asleep during the day. He's always awake at night. One day he leaves his room and he sees a salesman talking to someone, but he doesn't realize that nobody's actually there. The salesman is just talking to himself. And he noticed a man asking questions door to door. When he goes back in his room because he left the door open, there's a lady in his room, and she's pretending to be a maid, but she ain't no maid.
She's not dressed like a maid.
She's not. And you know what he said? You know how he said he knows he's not the maid?
How?
He said she's the wrong color. Yikes.
That was not a Bridgerton timely comment.
No. So this woman is inside, and he's like, there's no cleaning trolley. You ain't the right color, and my sheets are still dirty. And she's like, the guy who you saw out there in the hallway is coming after me. Whatever. You have to protect me. And he opens the door. The guy is there, like, listening in. He's like, where is she? Whatever. And he's like, come on in. And he's like, psych. And he slams the door right in the guy's face, breaks his nose, fucks him up, whatever. And
throws him in an elevator and tells the bellman, take this bitch out like the trash.
Yep. And then he basically kicks her out. He's like, I don't want anything to do with this shit. So then we go back to modern day being 22 years ago or whatever, however long ago this episode aired. Angel is standing outside the door, remembering the incident. Wesley and Cordy find that the hotel closed because Ronald, who is the owner, took a shotgun and killed every guest in the hotel, which, tends not to be. First of all, like, with a shotgun, you have to reload that thing a lot.
It makes a loud bang, so whoever stayed in their room is an idiot.
I'd probably leave.
Same.
Since then, the hotel was declared a historic landmark. They've been trying to unload it, but they've had no luck. And then Wesley and Cordelia dig a little bit deeper and find out that even during the construction that the roofers were jumping off the hotel and taking coworkers down with them. And then they're digging more into it, and they find a picture of Angel in the lobby of the hotel dating back to 52. So
Which
now
is
they know,
weird because vampires can't have photos taken of them.
Well, they cover that. They say, Cordy says that vampires can take photos, but they can't take good photos. So the two wonder why he didn't disclose this information to them. So we're gonna go back to flashback. And so Angel is like drinking some blood that he got from a blood bank
In a really nice bottle, might I add.
Yes, correct. And a salesman is playing this polka record, and the same salesman that was talking to himself in the hallway earlier, and he puts a pillow up against his head and he shoots himself. He domes himself in the head.
Domes.
Yeah, it's a thing. And Angel hears the gunshot and hears the guy fall, but he doesn't care. He's just like, meh, it happens. And then it turns out that this is the third suicide in 3 months. Frank is discussing when to call the police, but then Ronald hears a voice in his head saying that if word gets out about the death, that the hotel is going to be closed down. He tells Frank, we're not calling the cops. You need to go and put the body in the meat locker, which gross.
Ew.
It's very much like the Cecil Hotel in that people are accidentally consuming dead humans. He tells, and then he hears the same voice listening, the same voice whispering again. All of these people are hearing voices, which probably would imply gas leak or demon. Angel meets Judy outside. It's a Griffith Park, right? Up at the observatory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love it up there.
It's pretty.
I love it up there. I took mushrooms and went up there once and just.
I'm not a nature person.
I'm not really either, but when I'm very high, I'm happy about it.
Yeah.
Amy pointed out a scene that I skipped actually, which is we see a black family walk in and try to get a room, and they're like, "Yeah, no, the sign is incorrect. No vacancies."
That was not cool.
Yeah, don't they know what happened with Jesus? So
what happened with Jesus?
Do I need to explain the Jesus story to you?
What?
Oh, I forgot you're a Jew. So Mary and Joseph are going to like find a hotel, and they're like, no, it's super booked. It's like spring break in Jerusalem. And they're and he's like, well, we have a barn out back if you want to go lay with some sheep.
Oh, is that why they went into the barn?
That's why they went in the barn. There was no room at the inn.
Away in a manger,
Exactly.
something.
No room for a bed. That's what happened. And so that's how Jesus happened. So basically, that kid is going to be Jesus, I guess.
So
I
mean, I'm just saying again, Jesus was black.
Yes, correct.
Jesus was not white.
So Angel feels like a connection between himself and this woman, Judy. And we're back in modern times. By modern times, I mean 21 years ago. Wesley and Cordelia.
Let's just call it present day.
Okay. Wesley and Cordelia are finding information on when Frank was arrested, convicted, and executed for the murder of the salesman, and notes that he was the bellhop when Angel was there. And now they continue their project. Flashback. Angel goes back to the hotel, and the guests are really like paranoid, and they're trying to figure out like whether this was a murder or suicide and who would have done it and whatever. There's a screenwriter guy there that keeps coming up with these hack ideas about how it could have gone down. And Judy shows up, and she's like, I think it was a murder, and if it's a murder, the cops are going to be around, and they're going to ask questions. And Angel's like, yeah, I know, because there was a private investigator guy. You said it was your boyfriend, but like we know the situation.
Judy.
And she's like, yeah, I worked at a bank in Kansas, and they found out that I'm half black, but I'm passing as white, and I took a whole bunch of money and got the hell out of there before they could
kill her.
Something. I guess they kill half black people in Kansas.
Well, there was a law you couldn't be like mixed. Like you weren't like white and black people weren't supposed to mix, because wasn't there that movie in the 1950s about the white guy who wanted to marry the beautiful black woman, and they did it anyway, and they lived like in the boonies, and then they kept coming after them, and he went to jail. There was a movie. It was on HBO. It was a real movie. Someone knows this.
All right.
Naomi.
She was upset. That's what happened. Her boyfriend found out that she was half black and broke up with her, and she was upset and angry. She had nobody left in her life, so she took a whole bunch of money. She ran away to LA, and she's never touched the money. It's in a bag. She's never touched it. And Angel is like, listen, this doesn't matter. Race doesn't matter. Whatever. Give me this bag. I'm going to go hide the money.
He's like, blood is blood. Give me yours.
Blood is blood. Give me your money. So Cordy finds a newspaper clipping about her, which reveals that after she stole the money, she checked in and she was never seen again. So the suspicion at this point is that Angel is killing these people, but obviously that's not what happened.
He's not doing it because they're not being drunked.
Angel helps Judy hide the money, and she's like, should I just send it back to the bank and then I won't go to jail? But I don't think if our problem is that the guys are sending an investigator after you from Kansas, I don't think they're going to let you just hand the money back.
Yeah.
I don't think it works like that. And
like,
Judy
you
asks,
you just be like, sorry.
Judy asks Angel if he believes in forgiveness, and he does not answer the question. And then Angel hears this whispering, and he's like, something is in the hotel. You need to get out. Go back to your room.
And she can't get
then
out of the hotel.
Back in the normal times. Angel finds the money untouched in the hotel's basement, but notices the whispering again. Wesley realizes that some force was affecting the residents and staff. Cordy already knows that it's a Thessalak demon because Angel called her and explained it to her, and that it feeds on victims' insecurities and preys at them through whispers, which, by the way, nightmare. I cannot imagine. I ignore my insecurities, which is the only way I get through life. I cannot imagine something constantly whispering about what a loser I am right into my ear.
Horrible.
So Angel thinks that the demon actually has claimed that land even before the hotel was built, and he wants them to track the whereabouts of this demon. But then he's like, actually, I don't need you to because the demon's still in the hotel, and I'm going to raise it, and we're going to kill the demon. Call Gunn, which, by the way, the first 5 episodes of season 2, everything is like, call Gunn, he'll help, until Gunn eventually is there.
Knows.
Yeah. And so then we're going to go, we're back at a bookshop in the 50s, and Angel walks in, and this guy is there watching TV, and he's like, I need information. Angel's like, I need information on raising and killing demons. And the guy's like, okay, here's a book for you. And he throws it at him. It's a Bible. And Angel's like, ow! Because apparently Bibles also burn vampires. Angel disappears, and the guy tries to chase him out while wielding a cross. But then he reappears and threatens the guy into helping him. So now we're back at the hotel. Frank tells Ronald that he had to cut up the body to put it in the meat locker, which is gross.
Tasty.
Also, Bellmen don't get paid that well. It's not worth it. Just get a job at another hotel if this hotel closes.
Adios.
But so the 4 guests are arguing, and they're convinced that the others are responsible for the murder. And Judy starts hearing a voice that says that she's going to go to prison.
No, Judy!
Angel and Denver is the guy's name, are making small talk, and Angel finds out that Thessalak has to be physical, corporeal, before he's killed, which means that he either needs to feed a lot or be raised in a ritual. But Angel decides to do the ritual, even though it's very risky. So he gets the supplies that he needs, and he finds out that the Thessalak is really difficult to kill. And Denver, the guy who owns this bookstore, doesn't understand why a vampire would want to fight a demon to help humans. And Angel's like, I don't know either, but I'm just going to go for it. So the private detective shows up and is asking for Judy, and shows her picture. And when Angel comes back, that lobby is completely empty. We're back in modern times. Cordy, Wesley, and Gunn arrive, and they start doing the ritual. And Wesley and Gunn are bickering, but it's clearly from this demon putting whispers in their head. But then Cordelia says that they were actually like that before they even got there. So Wesley starts summoning the demon. The hotel guests are bickering. This guy enters. I already said all that. Angel shows up on his hotel floor, and all the guests are there, like, going at Judy, saying she did it. She's in charge. He's here looking for her. Like, whatever. And then she's like, nope, not me. It wasn't me. It wasn't me. It was that guy. And points at Angel. And so Angel, they take him down to the lobby, and they lynch him. They straight up, like, lynch. They make a noose. They hang him. They lynch him. It's a lot. It's a lot. But of course,
my preferred part of the show.
And then they all leave, and the only person that's like gleeful is Frank the bellhop, who is very good at being very creepy in this episode. And Angel is obviously not dead because he doesn't need to breathe, so it is what it is.
He's like,
so
you guys are weird.
Yeah, he climbs down, and then the demon becomes corporeal behind him and is like, hey, I just ate all this like paranoia energy. You put your neck out for these people, and they hung you from a rafter. What do you want to do? And Angel's like, you know what? Go for it. These people aren't worth saving. Fuck them. And that's it. And then he leaves. And so ostensibly this demon just devours the rest of these people. It's very dark, actually.
Very dark.
Yeah. So we're back in modern times. The ritual's successful. Thessalak thanks Angel for bringing more people from to feed on. And especially Wesley, who is super paranoid and is the most paranoid of the group, which is very funny because then Wesley gets paranoid about being paranoid.
Yeah, he was like, am I excessively paranoid? He's like, not excessively.
And then they go into a little battle with him. Angel grabs one of his tentacles and shoves it into a fuse box, and he gets electrocuted and dies.
Bye.
Bye. So Angel goes upstairs for the first time since he left, and he goes into room 214, his room, and
217.
217.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so he goes in there, and Judy is sitting in the chair, and she's an old lady now, and she's been in this hotel the whole time.
Just listening to the voices. And she's like, now there's not voices anymore. I'm so sorry that I killed you. Oops-a-daisy. And she's like, I'm ready to go, but I just need to lay down for a little bit first. And then she dies very like Rose and Titanic style. Yeah. And it's actually a little touching. It was. Yeah, it was a little bit touching. And Judy asks Angel for forgiveness, and he forgives her, which goes back to the question of when she asked him if he believes in forgiveness at all. She dies. So hi, Judy.
Cordy's like, I hate this hotel. It's super creepy. I can't wait to get out. And Angel's like, well, we're moving in. She's like, I think it's great. A couple throw pillows. No problem. Yeah. And so like Angel is going to turn this hotel around and turn it into a place where they help people. A little bit of trivia real quick before we get into our final thoughts. Tim Minear wrote this as another episode to explore his background and the sort of like, I don't want to get involved attitude that he used to have versus what he has now. The hotel was actually used in the episode I Fall to Pieces with the creepy doctor that would cut off his limbs and send them around places. Do you remember that?
Yes, I do.
And it was used as his apartment. They actually shot this on Wilshire Boulevard at the Los Altos Hotel and Apartments.
Cool.
Yeah. And I think that's pretty much what I got there. International titles. The only interesting one is Le Hotel du Mal, or the Hotel of Evil. That's the French title. So final thoughts, letter rating on this episode.
I thought this was a good episode of Angel. I'm going to give it a solid B+. I liked it. By
Angel standards or by standard standards?
I don't think we can go by standards yet because we are not quite there, but I didn't think this episode sucked. I was not annoyed the entire time. I didn't hate every minute of it, and I don't have a lot of mean things to say about it. I did not like the hanging part. I thought that was a little aggressive. I didn't like the echoing back to a time, where people weren't all equal, even though, technically we aren't still yet.
Well, funny you mentioned that because it's been brought up in the comments that I meant to talk about HUAC and I forgot. So the House Un-American Activities Committee was Joe McCarthy's panel that would bring celebrities and politicians and various people in and asks you, are you now or have you ever been a member of the Communist Party? So it's very much about like Cold War era suspicion and paranoia and that sort of thing, and that mixed with the sort of racial environment at the time where Black people were overwhelmingly thought to be communist sympathizers and whatever else. So that whole,
now we're socialists.
That's very intentional. That sort of like the lynching imagery is obviously very intentional, and the stuff with the race stuff is very intentional as well. I couldn't find out if that actress is actually half Black or if she's just like Indian or something. I tried to find out and I couldn't find much about her background. So if she's not, it's probably a little tone deaf not to cast a biracial actress, but let's just assume she is for hell's sake. Her name is Melissa Marsala. So I don't know. We'll see.
Sounds Italian.
I was thinking she sounds Indian, like chicken tikka masala.
I thought Marsala like Marsala wine.
Oh, maybe we're both racist. So to go back, I'm going to go ahead and say that this episode is actually one of the best episodes of Angel, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh God, they don't get better than this. I mean, it was good, but it's
no.
not the
They're
greatest.
good. They stay good for a while.
Okay.
Season 2 is pretty good. There's a solid story the whole episode. It doesn't rely just on flashbacks because those get exhausting very quickly. And I thought that it really kind of filled in the story of Angel, the character, and what he's been doing, and all this time between when he got his soul back versus when he meets Buffy, but without being too heavy-handed or over the top. I thought it was actually very good. I'm going to go ahead and give this an A. I could watch this episode again.
Amazing.
So next week we'll be back and we will be covering the Angel episode First Impressions, where we get a lot more Darla, if that's what you're looking forward to, and the Buffy episode The Replacement, which is actually very good, and we have a very special guest for next week's Buffy episode.
So excited.
That I can't say who it is because it'll give away what happens in the episode, but just hang on there. And we'll see you guys next week.
GrrArgh!
Bye. GrrArghCast.